Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. The market bell is about to ring. Unfortunately, we have more problems for Binance, a France problem. So, let's talk about that. Why so many are attacking Binance at this point, and what else is going on in the world of crypto. Let's do this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The market bell has just rung. And happy Friday to all. So right now, this morning, Bitcoin holding around 25.6. The U.S. market is looking like it wants to turn green. The futures were kind of mixed, reddish. Now it looks like it's going to be in the green. And you know, surprisingly, as bearish as it has been so far, or seems like it's been very bearish so far, the U.S. market is actually doing very, very well. In fact, the best week so far since March. And this is what it looks like for the S&P 500. So again, you know, you zoom out and you realize, yeah, things are pretty good. Not quite back to all-time high yet, but you know, this is what happens on the DCA and HODL. And if you look at Bitcoin's chart, it's even more crazy than this, but this is just looking at S&P 500. You know, yes, there's dips. Yes, there's like scary times when the whole thing seems like it's going to collapse. But then when you zoom out, you realize, well, you HODL on DCA, you know, you're going to get rewarded. And this goes all the way back to 2009 when there was a really, really big crash, right? Coming off of the housing bubble. But since then, it's recovered nicely and just kept going and going and going and going. Even a 2020 crash is barely noticeable, right? So, just goes to show you, you want to have patience, you want to HODL and DCA. That's really it. When you zoom out, you realize that that is the way. You don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need to do advanced trading. All you have to do is HODL and DCA. That's really it, right? So it's the same thing with Bitcoin. When in doubt, zoom out. If you don't believe what's going on, I mean, this doesn't even go back far enough. But I mean, this goes back to 2015, and let's just keep in mind, 2015, it was $100. Okay. $100 to $25,000. Yes, I have a lot of lines drawn over here, but you get the picture. You know, when in doubt, zoom out. There's a lot of big, scary dips, but coming from someone that has lived through all of these, basically, during the times, they always seem very scary, but afterwards, you just forget about it. Like, you know, it doesn't even register in your head. Life moves on. Bitcoin moves on. It always does. No matter how much FUD and how much is going on in the world, Bitcoin just says, I don't care. I'm doing my thing. I'm following the 4-year cycle and continues forward. Right? That's really what it comes down to. All right. So just want to start out with that. Of course, the big news everyone is still talking about is Blackrock. And Charles Hoskinson from Cardano is no fan of it. In fact, he's not just a fan, he's just calling out Bitcoin maxis now. Charles tweeted this last night. Bitcoiners defending BlackRock is all you need to know about their ethics, mental state, and greed. See, that's not really fair. Okay. First of all, there's a lot of Bitcoiners out there. Second of all, there are Bitcoiners out there that hold Cardano too. So I don't know. Charles seemed like he was in a bad spot at the time, but I certainly don't think that all Bitcoiners think this is the greatest thing on earth, right? Now, I did hype it up too. I think if BlackRock gets a Bitcoin spot ETF, it will bring trillions of dollars in from the institutions, right? But I also recognize and said that this is just short term. Long term, of course, no one wants institutions like BlackRock to be controlling Bitcoin, right? But short term, it's going to be a good thing. And as retail investors, what do? I've been telling you guys to DCA and HODL, right? DCA and HODL. You want to get in while things are cheap. That's what these big institutions are doing. They have already started. I mean, you guys know that, yeah, there's a lot of companies that have bought in. Where's that? I had this fancy thumb. Oh, it's gone. No, here we go. I mean, institutions have started buying. If you haven't been paying attention, well, start paying attention because, even MicroStrategy, led by Michael Saylor, has 140,000 Bitcoins. Okay, and just look at this list. And then you look at countries that also have it. And then you look at private companies. And then you look at ETFs or trusts that already have it. So, these institutions have started accumulating already. And there will be more that will be accumulating. And it doesn't show BlackRock in here, okay? We don't know how much BlackRock owns. But just with the 65 entities listed in here, that's already 8% of the overall supply, and we're not even at 21 million Bitcoins yet. So that's how fast things can move. So if BlackRock is filing for a Bitcoin ETF, you know that they have already accumulated a ton and will continue to do so. So that's why as retail investors, you don't want to let these guys take it all. Okay, that's the thing with retail investors. Most people right now on the street, you ask them about Bitcoin crypto, they have no interest, even though they've probably heard of it, no interest at all. But that's the thing. When Bitcoin goes back up to 60,000, 70,000, then ask them again. The interest is back. Oh, tell me more about Bitcoin. Oh, tell me more about Ethereum and Cardano. You think they're good buys? They'll have interest at 60,000, but not interest at 25,000. See, that's the retail mentality. The herd mentality is you need like some kind of confirmation that the moon is coming, right? When in fact you could have bought low, DCA'd, right? And when that moment comes, you're already at the moon. You don't have to wait for more moon. You're already there, right? So don't let these big guys take away your life-changing wealth or even financial freedom, because that's what they're doing. They're not going away. Why do you think BlackRock and everyone else is trying to come out of the Bitcoin spot ETF? Is it because they're bored? No, because they know Bitcoin is the future. This is going to pave way for something completely new, just like when the first gold ETFs hit the market back in early 2000s, when it caused gold to spike up, right? And some gold people do not like that because they believe in physical gold, right? But, it could be the same thing for spot ETF. And let's not forget, BlackRock and others are not stupid. Some of them watch this channel, I'm pretty sure. And they know that, historically speaking, when you're leading up to a halving event, and then afterwards, there's a good price action that goes up, right? And people have lived through 2021 and 2017, the last few bull runs, and know how much FOMO that comes with those peak times, right? These guys are not stupid to that or not oblivious to that either. They know. They're preparing. So, you know how people want signs sometimes? You want a sign that something's going to happen. Well, this is a sign. This is definitely a sign. Don't ignore this. Even Mike Novogratz, which is one of the biggest bulls out there, and Mike Novogratz owns Galaxy Digital Holdings with 8,100 Bitcoin, about 200 million at this point in time. Even he says that BlackRock getting a Bitcoin ETF would be the best thing that could happen in Bitcoin. Again, I don't know if it's such a great thing long term. Short term, it will be phenomenal. And forces Gary's hand to open up registrations to other Bitcoin spot ETFs. And there are some big companies out there that already have their application and they've been waiting for a long time, right? Canada has one. and it's okay. Other countries that have one, there's no good reason why we can't have one in the US. So, there you go. Now, what about this other big news today? What about Binance? Binance can't seem to catch a break today, or recently. Yeah, it can't seem. So, a couple of Binance news today. Number one, they're under investigation in France. You know, I looked it up. CZ have said very good things about France. Said France is the Web3 hub, right? But now France is apparently, well, at least they told CoinDesk. So I don't know, because there's no other sources about this other than from CoinDesk, that supposedly Binance, before they got their registration, they've been offering services to citizens of France, to Frenchmen, and they're under investigation for aggravated money laundering. Basically, they didn't implement money laundering laws, right? So that's what's happening right now, and supposedly this is a big deal, and this and that, and blah blah blah, right? A lot of countries, I don't know why. I mean, I guess just because of SEC pressures, they feel like they need to do something with Binance. Like Binance have already complied. They got their license in May of 2022, received regulatory approval, right? So it should be life goes on. But now they're trying to investigate them for pre-May 2022. So that's what's happening. And CZ did respond to this, of course, with 4, meaning FUD. In France, surprise, no advance notice. On-site inspections of regulated business are the norm for banks and now for crypto too. Okay, the surprise for Binance France happened a couple weeks ago. Even though this headline news is today, it already happened 2 weeks ago. Binance also isn't the only crypto business inspected. This happened to other well-known businesses in Paris too. Binance France continues to be our flagship center in Europe. So, to clarify, CZ says this is no big deal. It happened weeks ago, and we're not the only ones that were inspected, although headline news like this makes it seem pretty scary for Binance, right? But they continue to operate, and does seem like CZ is still very hopeful about France, the flagship center in Europe. Okay, so that's the latest. And in addition to that, unfortunately, Binance does leave the Netherlands because they couldn't get a license. Unlike France, which they did, Netherlands did not want to give him a license. So unfortunately, they are leaving the Dutch market, just like they left the Canadian market not too long ago. So those of you guys that are from Netherlands, you're going to have to find another exchange, unfortunately. So that's the latest with Binance. Now, just to talk a little bit about BNB, because I had a regular and a good friend asked me about BNB, and some of you guys may be wondering about that too. Is this a good time to be switching up BNB for something else, right? Obviously, with attacks from the SEC, in the United States, you only have Binance.US that supports BNB, right? So there's really no other exchange that does. But outside of US, there's a lot of exchanges that support BNB. So is this a good time to get away from BNB, get away from Binance? Well, I've been thinking about this. Like, you know, honestly, I would say short term, it may be suppressed slightly because of all these regulatory concerns. But long term, BNB is not going to go anywhere. There's a reason why, even with all this FUD, BNB is still sitting at number 4. Number 4 at $36.5 billion in market cap. Because Binance is just absolutely huge. And CZ, even though he's fighting tooth and nail with all these regulators around the world, right, still shows that he's a very capable and intelligent leader that's leading Binance. And BNB chain is still huge and growing. And Binance itself, Binance.com, is still by far the largest exchange on the planet. It's not even close if you look at the volume. I mean, it literally, it's not even close. It's like 10 times more than anyone else, right? So I would say this, BNB probably short term is going to be suppressed a little bit. But long term, it's just go continue forward like everything else. I mean, that's how I feel. So short term, if you feel like there's better buys, for example, if you think like Ethereum would be a better buy, or even an XRP or Cardano would be a better buy, you know what? Go for it, right? But here's the thing. Looking at the last 7 days, if you look at the last 7 days, Ethereum is down 10%. BNB is also down 10%, slightly more at 11%, even with the FUD. And you look at XRP's down 14%, Cardano's down 20%, Solana's down 24%, Polygon's down 26%, Polkadot's down 14%, right? So even with all that FUD, Binance has held, or BNB has held pretty well. Not as well as Bitcoin though, but considering the other L1s have fallen much more, it's holding pretty well. And speaking of Ethereum, so this is just interesting. I mean, the merge already happened. Shapella, which is the code name for the upgrade, happened. But something interesting that I'm noticing is that synthetic ETH is now becoming a de facto kind of crypto on a lot of these staking places or lending places. For example, like Aave. So like liquid or synthetic tokens of Ethereum is actually being used more than Ethereum itself. That's kind of interesting. But overall, staking and the staking percentage of Ethereum has gone up through the roof and continues to do so, which explains why Ethereum is pretty darn strong right now. Okay, and probably will continue to be strong, especially when you consider the burning that's still happening. So, yep. So there you go. And as for Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin, I got two charts to show you guys. This is, never heard of this indicator, the electric wire indicator. The name is fitting because you got a lot of, seems like electrical currents going through. But you got this ribbon, okay? You have these triple ribbons. This is on the weekly scale. And the last time Bitcoin broke below and then broke above and utilized it as a support was right before the 2021 pump. So, are we getting ready for a huge pump come July? A lot of people have predicted very early on, even back in December and January and February, that around the July timeframe, Bitcoin is going to see some massive movement. Some predicted 40, 50,000. Some predicted higher, mostly because they're comparing it to what happened in 2019. Because after we came off from bottom, we had a huge spike to 14. Then we kind of hovered before we started going up, right? We haven't had that huge spike yet. And we're following that pattern, then yes. But if you look at this indicator and these ribbons, well, it does seem like Bitcoin is about to flip above and move forward. So that does look pretty good. And here's another view. Something else, the MFI price action is copying the one from 2016. Again, another pattern that looks like Bitcoin is about to break into the upside. Now, keep in mind, these graphs are zoomed out, right? You're looking at it per year. Okay, this is going back all the way to 2014. So when it shows that big arrow and it starts going up exponentially like that, it doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. It takes years before you get peak, right? That is leading up to 2025. So 2024 will have a good run. 2025 will have a better run. And that's when Bitcoin gets pushed above 150, 200, 250,000. We don't know where it peaks out at, okay? So keep in mind, this is over years, not like weeks or days. Nevertheless, this is why we're in Bitcoin. You don't want all the Bitcoins to go to guys like BlackRock, okay? They are getting in and they're buying loads of Bitcoin behind the scenes while retail investors are not paying attention, okay? And the reason why is because they know this is coming and they're going to make a boatload of money And in the meantime, they're going to accumulate. In the meantime, they may cause some FUD too, so they can accumulate even longer. But we know this is coming. We had the 4-year cycle. Bitcoin has always followed the same pattern, leading up to it and afterwards. Plus, we have much better conditions now than ever before. And the number of people in crypto is way higher now than before, even though a lot are not paying attention. The fundamentals are better than ever. Yes, the fundamental of Bitcoin better than ever. So this next bull run could be unlike anything we have ever seen. Like, really. Like, it could be way bigger than anyone expects. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Eric McDonald, thank you for a large super sticker this morning. Let's see here. Let's see if I missed any comments. Yeah, I covered Binance leaving Netherlands. Also some French FUD. Who doesn't like French FUD? All right, caught up. Eduardo, you're welcome, and that is what I do. Milved, Flocks and Cadena. You know, before I thought they had a really close relationship. Now I realize they really don't. They're really two separate companies. But Flux is pretty interesting. I did Twitter Spaces with them this past Wednesday. If you did not listen, go back to my Twitter Space on Twitter and listen to it. They actually have some exciting stuff. They're getting into AI also. People that are so bullish about render because of GPU sharing for AI processing, Flux is doing that too. I think that could be huge. But they're a decentralized compute platform, which has major benefits over, say, AWS or Azure. So, yeah, they seem promising. And they're very different than Cadena. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on MEV bots? I feel like they harm crypto projects more than anything. I feel like they destroy like meme coins and small coins. Yeah, Jared from Subway, and then he decided to release his own coin or something like that, and then people copied his account and tricked people into giving him ETH. I don't know, but it seems like that bot destroys like smaller coins, smaller projects, because it just sucks. It keeps like scalping the money away. I don't know about bigger ones. Thoughts on Rivian, Lucid, and Neo stock? Yeah, Rivian and Lucid, they're gonna go bankrupt. So no, absolutely no. Neo, on the other hand, it's in China, but still, they're not the biggest. They're like the third biggest. I forgot who the biggest electric car company in China is. BYD, and even Elon himself says BYD is a fierce competitor. So they got it together. So all those three I would not touch. Good evening from Dubai. Please notify me. Okay, good evening. You said that twice. Will you be reviewing the new GX 550 Over Trail Edition at some point? I don't know how I feel about the looks. I think everyone thinks, oh, it looks so good. I don't know. It does not look like a Lexus at all. It looks like it should be the new Toyota 4Runner. So the inside didn't really impress me. The outside does look different, but yeah, the inside didn't look impressive. It looks the same as others. I think they should have released the new 4Runner first. I don't know how many people are going to be buying a Lexus, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 Lexus and go pure off-roading, because that's what they marketed it for, right? It's starting at 60s, it'll probably top out in the 80s, and the commercials just keep showing it going off-road and you know, doing wild things. Like, literally no one buying that car is going to do those things. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to review it and see how good it is. Why did Charles Hoskinson claim he was working with regulators in 2018 only to find out he isn't? I don't know. I've never heard that he said he was working with regulators in 2018. You can spend $60,000 on a Jeep. Oh yeah, you certainly can. But it's much easier to work and fix a Jeep. And most people on the trail, I would say, are not buying the top of the end Rubicon Jeep. You know, if I was getting an off-road vehicle, it would definitely be a Bronco. Broncos drive so much better than Jeeps. I don't know how reliable they are, but they certainly look better, and they drive a whole lot better. And I would love to get a Bronco Raptor if it wasn't being sold over MSRP. I haven't checked recently, but I may get one when it comes down. I heard there's a Polygon 2 is the same as Matic now. There's no Polygon 2. They are working on something different, and they have the ZK Sync chain, or not Sync, ZK EVM chain. It's not a chain. I mean, it's just utilizing something different. So no, there's no 2 right now. It's still using, there's only one Matic, one Polygon. The new Tacoma looks great. It looks great. The Tacoma needed a refresh badly, and I think the new one looks awesome. But I have to drive and see. Tacomas are pretty small. Inside, not very big. But maybe the new one changes that. So, yeah, we'll see. Ford Maverick is decent. It's pretty. If you get the top trim, the Tremor, it's actually a pretty good truck. A small, lightweight truck that's pretty fast and looks pretty good too. So, but people don't like Mavericks because they're not big, manly trucks. It's not even full size truck. Not even mid size truck. It's a I don't even know what to call it, a lightweight truck. It's still considered like a half ton, but it's just a small truck. But it's actually pretty good. If you want something that's just like, you know, small, nimble, and still has a bed and fun and great fuel economy, Maverick fits that bill. I was just at Scott. I was just at Mercedes dealership getting my GLS serviced, and I'll tell you, Mercedes charges a boatload for everything. They designed their engine. I have the 580, so it uses this twin turbo V8 setup, and they've made it so that you can't change your own air filters. In every car I've ever had, it takes like 5 minutes to change the air filter. You pop off the filter boxes and you change it. With Mercedes, this is the only engine ever. It's like screwed in somehow to the manifold, and you can't easily access it. You can't open it easily. And it's the only car I can't do myself. So they charge $200 just to replace the air filters. Oil change was $350. And then you plus that in there, so that's $550. And then they have these stupid, impossible, again, to change out cabin filters. That cost another $200, close to that. So overall, it was like $700 to do something that normally in any other car would be like under $100. So if you're going to get a luxury car, know that maintenance is very expensive. Can I change the air filter on Ferrari? You know what? That's an interesting question. I'm going to go figure it out. But I see the air intakes right in front, so I should be able to. Basically, CZ is half the volume of Bitcoin. I mean, at the beginning, I said, I don't think people realize how big Binance is. All right, let's just take a look. Okay, so this is Binance's volume in spot versus Coinbase versus KuCoin. You could take all these exchanges, the top 10 added together, okay, and still smaller than Binance in spot volume. What about derivative volume? Well, derivative volume is better, okay, because you have guys like, I don't know, like Bitmart and BitGet and all these guys, the smaller exchanges that have crazy amount of derivative volume. But still, it's not as bad as spot, but still, Binance is number one by far, okay? So there's that too. But if you're looking at like spot, if you're wondering, well, what's the size difference between Coinbase and Binance? It's like 7x. It's not even close. Do electric cars have air filters and oil changes? They have cabin filters, and no, there's no oil changes. But you still have to worry about other things too. But mostly just like cabin filters, especially Teslas. You have to change those often because they get stinky really, really fast. What is your opinion about regular licensed crypto project offer remittance such as Telcoin and Bax? These two companies license KYC. I mean, I have no opinion about them. I would never use them. It's not something that I do. I don't need that service, so I don't pay attention. Now, if you are in a position where you want to use it or have to use it, then great. But there's competition out there. Even Strike offers remittance. I'm just not interested in it. Do you plan on tracking Ferrari? No. No. I do want to go to a course, go to a track, and drive some nice cars, but not my own, probably. I don't want it to get dinged or scratched or anything. I would buy like a nice track car for that purpose, right? Like something much cheaper. Like for example, um, I don't know, like I drove M2 recently, like an M2 M4 would be great for the track. Something cheaper like the Type R or Corolla GR. Those would be really fun track cars too. So yeah, if I was going to do some serious tracking, I would just buy another car for that. NMCT random question: do you think people have puts on Berkshire hoping to last longer? Buffett and Munger. I don't know what that means. What do you mean last longer? Those two guys are like in their 90s. They're not gonna last much longer regardless. But Berkshire Hathaway will continue forward regardless of them or not. Um, so I don't know what you're asking. Hey, since it's Friday, guess what I got with me? So you guys know that I got my Ferrari recently, right? So what they did, okay, because I paid so much money, is they laminated my window sticker for me. So this is a nice thing. So I could go through some of the options I picked and some of these forced options that they forced me to add on. Yeah, because there are some things I did not want. I did not want the price to be this high, and then they like forced me to get it. They didn't say you had to get it, but they was like, oh, if you don't get it, your order's gonna be canceled, or a high chance of it being canceled. I'm like, what do you? Okay, then you're telling me I have to get it, right? um, so in most cars, like delivery and destination charge is like $1,000, $1,500, or something like that. The delivery destination charge for a Ferrari is $5,000. And then there's a line item for additional cost of $1,300 that's related to it, but they don't tell you what that's for. They just threw that in there. So the destination charge is $6,300, just FYI. There are some like ridiculous things in here that I wanted, but it's really ridiculous. So for example, two-tone body color. So normally you just get one tone body color. So I got the Russo Corso red, right? Ferrari red. And I wanted the roof to be black. And it would be much cheaper to just go wrap it. But I decided, okay, that's an option. So let's go for it. So to have a black roof, not even carbon fiber roof, just a black roof, two-tone body painting is $11,812. So just to have a black roof costs you close to $12,000. Colored safety belts. Okay, so I have red. That's $928. A suspension lifter to raise the front in order not to scrape the bottom. That's $5,000. Here's something that's really ridiculous. The headrest on the seats. Normally, you would think in a Ferrari they would have that stitched horse on the headrest. No, that's an option. That's not included. So everyone that you see with a horse on the headrest had to pay for it. And just to get that is $1,266. Okay, and I was told if you don't get that, your resale value of your car goes down because people want to see that prancing horse. The Scuderia Ferrari shields, the yellow shields on the outside, that's not standard. A lot of Ferraris, most Ferraris have them, but you just figure they have to be standard or not. They're $1,856. Now, what I was really forced to get was those carbon fiber wheels, which I really did not want. I don't want carbon fiber wheels, but that's one of the things they said, well, because Ferrari stopped all their orders to the oligarchs in Russia, so they have a surplus of these carbon fiber wheels. So they're like, Ferrari really wants people to take them because now they have just a surplus of carbon fiber wheels in the warehouse. Carbon fiber wheels on my F8, $33,748. $34,000. And then you have to opt for titanium wheel bolts, which cost $1,687. So if you add those two together to get carbon fiber wheels is $35,000, which is already, you could use that to buy a car with. Okay, that's just some stuff. I don't mean to go on and on and on. But it's just because of all the orders canceled in Russia, or forced cancels, because every company was trying to dissociate away from Russia and those oligarchs. It was just funny that my salesperson called me and said, hey, Ferrari has a surplus of carbon fiber wheels and they really want to sell them because they don't want to keep them. So it's in your best interest to opt for them. Otherwise, there may be a chance your order gets canceled. I'm like, F you, man. Yeah. Anyways. That's it. I'll have the full review on my drivers only channel. See, here's the thing. They know no one would ever cancel the order, Adam, and here's why. Because at the time, and even now, Ferraris went up like crazy. So they know anyone that takes delivery of their new Ferrari is already making like $100,000. That's the reason why I didn't cancel. And it ended up being a lot more expensive than I thought it would. I'm in the green right now. Just taking delivery, even me driving it around, I could sell it now for more than what I bought it for. So that's why they're in a position to do that, because they know no one would dare to cancel their order because it would be stupid to. That's the reason. Unlike any other car out there, you take delivery and the price pretty much tanks. When you buy a high-end exotic car, it doesn't. It doesn't go down. So that's how things have changed. Ferraris back in the day, before 2020, there were a lot that went down a lot. Like, for example, the 458. You could have bought a 458 for low 100s at the time. It was like you could have found ones at like 130, 140. You try to look for a 458 now, they're all like 250 plus. And I don't think they'll ever come down. The environment has changed. That's why when I talk about entrenched inflation, yeah, I don't think things will change. These assets have gone up in price and they'll never go back down to the previous levels. So, there you go. All right, guys. Let's just conclude. Overall, I think today's a flat day. Not much going on today. But, Charles not liking BlackRock, but some people do. Mike Novogratz really love it. But don't let these big guys steal your life-changing wealth away. Stick with Bitcoin. Better days are coming. And I will see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.